Good evening, everyone. Hi, this is Trupti here, and I'm sure the last data democratization session was something which have helped us think a lot about data and the transformation of organizations. To carry the data theme and the organization transformation theme ahead, we have a very interesting topic coming up. And who's going to be handling the topic for us today? Well, for people who like to dabble in the Greek mythology, I'm sure we've heard about the term the gentleman Atlas. Now, what is the speciality of Atlas? He carries the entire world on his shoulders. So, how does that kind of correlate here today with us? The gentleman that we are going to be bringing onto the stage in the next couple of minutes is nothing less than Atlas for us at Network Science. Somebody who comes with a 30-year-old strong industry experience, be it technology, be it hardware, be it software, and of course, now relearning and unlearning himself and reintroducing himself into the deep tech world. So please help me welcome Rajesh Sahore on stage today.
Hi, Trupti. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Rajesh. All good. How are you?
That was some introduction you gave about me.
Thank you.
Uh, I'm already feeling like a superstar.
Oh, of course you are.
A warm welcome to all our guests attending our session, and thank you for being here today. I'm really excited to be here today to introduce, or rather, I would say, reintroduce the concept of zero cost transformation. And Trupti is going to help me navigate through this session for the next 25, 30 minutes. All right.
Absolutely.
So let me start off by saying that the last 3 decades of being in this industry has been very fulfilling. And, throughout these 3 decades, I have been, you know, honored by meeting up with business leaders of various companies and leader CXO levels as well as business heads who with whom I have had the chance of interacting. And during those time of interactions, I have been able to understand the kind of dilemmas they face, the kind of pains they go through uh, during the course of driving the business or transforming the business. So, most often than not, the dilemmas which these leaders have been facing have been profound, but the top 4 or 5 of those have been something like these, which you can see on the slide right now. The short-term gains, which is always critical for every business leader to ensure their shareholders are happy. They are uh, sorry.
Uh, yeah. Sorry to interrupt, Rajesh, but I'm not able to see your slides. So
Oh,
is
you're not
that
able to see my slides.
I'm not. I'm not sure if anybody. We'll just check
Just a
quickly
minute.
with the others because I'm not
Just a minute.
definitely able to see your slides.
Okay, let me restart it again.
Yeah. Let me resharing them.
Is it visible now?
Uh, Not yet.
Just a minute.
Yeah. So this is what I think we typically call the Murphy's Law. When we're talking about transformation and data, we have to face some kind of tiny glitches here, technology glitches. Just give us a moment and we'll be back with the slides. Oh, yeah. Now I can see them. Yeah.
Should I? You can see now.
I saw them briefly, but they're
Briefly, now let me try and send it again.
right. We've lost them again.
Let me try.
Oh, yes. Now I can see them, Rajesh.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
absolutely.
So sometimes technology does fail.
I know. I was just mentioning the Murphy's law always has to kick itself in action.
Yeah. It looks like it had to happen with me. Anyways, as I keep telling the team here, I'm more of a physical guy. I'd love to interact with people directly, face to face, rather than on a digital platform. But I am also trying to transform myself into a phygital persona rather than being a physical persona now. So this is work in progress, and sometimes technology does get the best of me also at times, even though I have 3 decades of experience predominantly in technology. Let's continue with this.
Yes.
So as I was saying, in the past 3 decades of my interaction with business leaders, I have
Hmm.
juggling multiple challenges, goals, out of which these 5 have topped the list. And these critical dilemmas have been both short term as well as long term. In the short term, they have to ensure that the company's growth, profitability, and the gains are maintained so that the shareholders are happy, the stakeholders are happy. But at the same time, they have to build a resilient and a future-proof organization,
Right.
which for which they need to invest in innovation, employee development, customer development, customer experience rather, I'm so sorry, and environmental and social responsibility.
Okay.
To ensure such a long-term success, they often require more patient approach, strategic planning, and willingness to sacrifice some of their short-term gains. But that is not going to happen, right? Because if you don't show short-term gains, the shareholders, you will erode shareholders' confidence, right?
Yeah.
So they
And
have
if
to
you
strike.
don't, yeah, if you don't stay enough, or if you're not able to stay enough longer, there's very little chance that you could sustain. I mean, you could be able to do anything in the long term, right?
Correct,
In
correct.
that
So,
sense, yeah.
so the business leaders have this dilemma, and they have to strike that balance between short-term gains and long-term sustainability.
Right.
At the
Right.
same time, grappling with business risk and ensuring that the innovation happens.
Correct. Correct.
So, most often than not, the first thing they try to do is get into what we call as reducing the cost of operation,
Okay.
right? So they
Yeah.
try to transform their business to reduce cost,
Okay.
and which is a term I have been hearing for the past a few years, maybe 3, 4 years. What the term which is called as zero cost transformation,
Okay.
right?
But Rajesh, if I could just intervene here, I mean, isn't it just to play the devil's advocate, reducing cost and walking on the path of transformation, aren't they two directional things? I mean, every transformation is going to require a huge amount of investment coming from in the part of in the from the point of view of resources, from the point of view of technology, from the point of view of experts know-how, so on. And of course, the most important, I think, is the time factor that we're talking about. So how are you going to talk about reduce cost and go in for transformation?
Excellent question, Trupti. Yeah, it sounds like a slippery slope. The while at one point we are saying it's a zero cost transformation, but to transform itself, you require money, the resources, and the time to transform, right? So that's where this particular slide talks about a process which is called zero cost transformation, wherein what the leaders of today are doing is they're leveraging their existing resources, streamlining their business operations, automating some repetitive tasks which otherwise is being done by manual workforce, to ensure that there is increase in efficiency, improvement in the productivity, and thus by virtue of leveraging the existing resources, they are maximizing the value and reducing their cost. The cost which they reduce here is what they reinvest into the transformation, wherein they bring in the innovation piece,
Oh,
right? So,
understood.
so,
Yeah.
so, so while as you rightly said, it's not truly zero cost the way it sounds, but yes, once this process is followed, or once this
Mhm.
transformation is initiated, the return on investment comes over a period of time, and hence you see the true zero cost transformation. So,
Right.
so, so the key strategies which are being followed in the industry
Mhm.
today for zero cost transformation are these five key strategies. One is process optimization, wherein, as I said, you try to streamline your workflows, eliminate unnecessary steps to enhance efficiency
Uh,
and reduce cost.
Rajesh, just help me understand before we jump into the the strategies.
Mhm.
We essentially are trying to say that we are going to be offsetting, we are going to be saving a good amount of money by doing all kind of optimization, and we are offsetting the savings into making sure that we transform the most critical business areas. Is that
Sure.
what we are talking about here? The offsetting of savings as against the transformation budgets that we will help the customers create for themselves.
Yeah, so that's right. I mean, what we do is what we are trying to, what the leaders are today doing is that they're optimizing their processes, bringing down, reusing or leveraging their existing resources to bring down their cost of operation. And the gains
Right.
which they get, or the reduction in the cost, they're
Uh-huh.
reinvesting or using that to build or transform their business.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. I think that makes sense. Yeah. That
Yeah.
definitely makes sense.
So
Yeah.
in for this, the process which they follow invariably is
Mhm.
optimizing their process. They're hiring new talent who is more forward thinking, more
Right.
future, um, who understand the future much better, the kind of business that will happen.
Right.
Bringing in a culture of innovation and leveraging the technology which we've been hearing about for the past 3 4 days, the deep
Right.
tech technologies and
Right.
strategic partnerships. The first three, the
Interesting.
process
Yeah.
optimization, talent development, and innovation culture, are a
Uh-huh.
very long drawn process
Okay.
requiring a good amount of gestation time, uh, um, uh, expert resources which need to be hired, right? And the the success or the failure of that particular strategy is a 50-50.
Okay.
Process optimization, not so much. That could be a higher percentage of success, but uh, talent which you hire and the innovation culture, always has its pros and cons.
Right.
However,
I think, yeah,
however,
like you're saying, since it's one, it's a long drawn process, and I think there is still a lot of work and study which still needs to go to quantize the returns and the benefits that we are going to get from these first 3 points. So in
right,
that sense, yeah, I do agree to what you
right.
just posted. Yeah.
So what comes if you really want big and fast change?
Hmm.
Then the only strategy which really works in today's scenario is leveraging the technology. And in our sense, we talk about deep tech,
Right. Right.
right?
Right.
There are various advantages of that, and
Okay.
I think the last 3 days and including the today's date, 4 days, we've
Right.
heard great panelists talking about the advantages of utilizing deep tech in their transformation journey.
Right.
So much so, I think today's first fireside chat of
Hmm.
Mr. Mansukhani, the
Right.
CEO of Dudar, with Mr. Murli. That was a
Absolutely.
masterclass,
Absolutely.
wherein he was sharing with us the kind of use of technology or the deep tech they're using
Absolutely.
to deliver services to their customers,
Correct.
growing in the process, and creating value for their stakeholders.
Correct. I
Right?
mean, the nuances that both of them touched in today's conversations, I think it's only experience which speaks at that level, right? The nuances and the
Absolutely,
depth at which
absolutely. It
they were
was a
going into it.
masterclass,
Absolutely.
and anybody who's heard that will understand the true power of deep tech
Right.
in the transformation journey.
And
right?
Rajesh, to contrast that to our other sessions that we had, relatively, I must say, fairly young startups, startup founders who presented their platforms, again, very, very focused on the data democratization, making it more easily available, so that you don't have to relearn and unlearn and all of that. That again, the points that you just mentioned a few minutes ago about transforming big and fast. I think that's the
Right.
whole point that.
Right.
So yes, I mean.
Out of the five strategies which we talked about, or which we
Mhm,
discussed just a couple of slides back, if
right.
you see, if you really want big and fast changes and transformation happening in your business, I
Mm-hmm.
think technology is the only thing which can really help you. I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. Uh, we're talking about deep tech advantage here on this particular slide. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Accelerated growth. The automotive industry, till a few years back, uh,
Mm-hmm.
was when they wanted to bring in a new model or they wanted to create a new part for their product, the vehicle. What they used to do was called as 3D clay modeling,
Right.
right? Wherein
Right.
they used to create a clay model of the prototype. Then they used to do stress tests on that, and then they will work on a redesign of that, which used to take
Mm-hmm.
months. A single
Right.
model or a single ancillary auto part used to take months to build.
Correct. And yet there were so
Today,
many aspects within the process that they possibly couldn't predict because it was just not a holistically thought through process. I mean, that was the best that they could do at
correct.
that particular point of time.
It used to be trial and error. I mean, they
Ab-
would make one and then break it again, make another one. But
Absolutely.
today, with the advent of 3D modeling softwares
Absolutely.
uh,
Metal
and
printing.
3D
Yeah.
printing solutions,
Absolutely.
the work which used to get be done in months are now getting done in weeks.
True.
That's
Absolutely.
why you see newer designs of vehicles coming out, uh, newer features, functionalities, and whatnot, safety
Right.
features happening in a matter of weeks rather than months.
Absolutely.
Right?
So,
Similarly,
mhm,
yeah,
yeah.
you were saying.
No, so I was, so yeah, I mean, I think there is nothing to prove beyond a point that deep tech is the way to go. And of course, like the last point that you said is, and all of this will happen through collaborations because,
Absolutely.
businesses no longer can afford to be islands. They have to be collaborative, they have to be connected, and that's the way to go. So,
It
gently
is it,
pulling you
it is
back
our
to the whole point of zero cost. How is that? I mean, please get us back to that zero cost
I
part of
will come to that. Hold on to your excitement there.
it.
I will
Okay.
I will definitely come to that.
Okay.
First of all, I mean, the deep tech advantage which you get, you know,
Uh-huh.
while we talked about Blue Dart, wherein Mr. Mansukani shared how the supply chain, he's
Uh-huh.
optimizing his supply chain using uh, the shortest path to deliver,
Right.
and various other technologies which he's using to ensure that the products or the consignments are reaching the client
Yeah.
safely and well within time. I'll
Correct.
take an example, similar example for a manufacturing industry, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
this is what I mean. This is on the basis of one of our clients,
Right.
where we have done a few things, right? Wherein we've seen that we've been able to reduce cost of unplanned maintenance real time by using real time detection, IoT sensors to predict anomalies, and therefore predicting equipment failure even before they happen. Right? Energy management, wherein we using computer vision, which we just heard one of our startups session before.
Mm-hmm.
Using computer vision, we're trying to do real-time identification of
Absolutely.
patterns that energy
Right.
use,
Right.
and
Right.
and then recommending adjustments.
Correct.
Similarly, using computer vision, we've been able to get them to identify defects,
Mm-hmm.
which is greatly reducing their time and
Correct.
resources required for manual inspection. Right now,
Right.
so this is completely driven using deep tech solutions, and of course, data which we generate out of these technology is used to do predictive analysis.
Correct. Right.
to gather what can be done in the future.
Right.
Now, coming to what you have been asking me, what is how you truly term this as zero cost,
Request.
right?
Yes.
So that's where we at Network Science we coined this term zero cost transformation at zero cost,
Uh-huh.
right? So what happens is that in any transformation journey, the first few steps or the critical steps is about identifying the business challenges, identifying the opportunities where the optimizations can be done, what are
Mhm.
those resources that can be optimized, what are those um uh, processes which can be streamlined to
Right.
get that benefit of cost reduction, right? So we at Network Science have come with a proposition of
Mhm.
of giving you the first 5 6 steps, wherein the assessment of the current state of the business, identifying the pain points from there,
Okay.
discussing, having a workshop with the management on
Uh-huh.
their vision and the goals which they want to achieve out of this
Right.
transformation journey,
Right. Right.
identifying the challenges which they are that might come up in the whole process of transformation,
Okay.
aligning relevant deep tech solutions along the way to see what
Uh-huh.
solutions can fit in. It does
Correct.
not mean that we have ready-made solutions for everything, right?
Right.
But
Absolutely.
there is a solution out there which we can
Correct.
look at. We can find and get them
Yes.
collaborated for the
Right.
business.
Right.
And on the basis of that, draft a technology roadmap
Okay.
and then present that with our final recommendations to the key stakeholders.
Right.
But this itself is an 8 week timeline.
Right.
This whole thing takes about 8 weeks for us to
Mm-hmm.
complete
Right.
and uh, uh, publish our recommendation to the key stakeholders.
Right.
We don't stop there. We always apart from our recommendations, we also provide the next steps that they need to take up for the transformation to start,
Right.
right? Which obviously is the phase two of the process.
Implementation.
However, the phase one, which is the identification and uh, technology recommendation, is what takes up majority of the time as well as resources and money.
Right. Right.
And this is what network science today on in this session and through this deep tech innovation alley is giving an invite out to all the guests out there who are listening to us and watching us, that we are doing this free of cost, at zero cost.
Interesting. And I
With
think that is where, Rajesh, I think to me, that is where the entire, storytelling changes, because here is where I have my skin in the game. I'm there for 8 months, I'm 8 weeks. I'm actually nurturing the entire thought process of understanding the business, coming up with likely solutions, matching them, the most important step of aligning them with the strategic solution, viewpoint that the key stakeholders at the business have. And then of course in phase two, make sure that it is implemented, and it is implemented the way we had envisaged it right from day one. So that
correct,
skin in the game and being there right from the very beginning, and not just having textbooks published about how a particular business can be transformed, is, to me, I think that's my key takeaway, that I can take away from this conversation right now here.
absolutely. And this 8 weeks will not only get them the starter kit for their transformation journey, but also align their key
Right.
stakeholders as well as people who would be involved in the transformation journey, align
Absolutely.
them towards the goal of innovation and reduction, cost
Right.
transformation.
And I think in
Right?
that sense, it's an extremely important step. It gives you, it's like a dipstick to understand where all we stand as an organization from the perspective of what are our priorities, and what are the, final, the prioritized visions and goals that we want to reach.
Yeah, in simple terms, where are we right now and where we want to be. So
Absolutely,
that's what
absolutely.
it'll get you.
Right.
And transformation journey is never ending. It keeps on continuing,
Absolutely.
right?
It's an ever
Uh,
evolving. Yeah.
I've been told that we need to quicken our pace, so I'll step ahead. So,
Right.
so how does you might ask why? How come network science is providing this at zero cost, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, there's always something which we would take away from you,
Okay.
and that's where that once you start gaining from the recommendations that we have given, so the reductions we will do a gain share with you. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing which we'll do. And we will obviously provide you with 250 plus use cases which we have already done. So that's the
Okay.
experience we have already, right? So the while we are talking about zero, it's completely zero, be it the investment in consulting, software, hardware required to provide the recommendation to you.
Mm-hmm.
But once that is done, we will do a gain share, and the savings which you get from that, you can invest in any of these three initiatives. You could improve your bottom line. You can invest that in growth. You can look at the sustainability, which is the now the one of the key
Yeah.
driving factors in the industry today,
Yes. Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. I think
Right. So
yes.
so that's from my side. If there are any questions, we can talk about them.
Oh, there are quite a few, Rajesh, but I do appreciate. I mean, in the interest of time, I'm just going to probably give you one quick one.
Mhm.
What type of deep tech solutions does Network Science recommend for SMEs to invest in with the savings generated from operational cost reduction? I know you've spoken about 250 odd 250 plus business cases that we've tackled, but
Yeah.
maybe a quick rundown on one
So
of those.
there's no single answer to this. Every mid enterprise, depending on their type of business, will have a different business challenge,
Okay.
and innovation required in their line of business could
Uh-huh.
be completely different from the other enterprise. So there's no single answer for that. It
Right.
is just that once we work with you, we understand your business goals, we will definitely recommend to you where you need to invest to future-proof your business. So that's also
Absolutely.
part of our consulting, which we do during the recommendation phase.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Thank you so much, Rajesh, for that enlightening session. And
Thank you
I
very
think
much.
to leave with to the audience and to the enterprises who are watching us today and listening to us today, you really don't have anything to lose, right? Just reach out
Absolutely
to
not.
us, and
Absolutely not.
here we
It's a win-win. It's a win-win, right? Because you don't pay a penny, and once you get the recommendation, you can choose to uh, uh, follow through with that or not,
absolutely. I
right?
agree.
It's a no commitment thing right now.
Yep.
And if you're interested, please reach out to us on this email ID, which I'm sharing on the screen right now,
Sure.
zct@networkscience.ai.
Yep. Thanks, Rajesh.
All
Thank you
right.
so much for being to all the audience. I would also request the audience to please take a look at the poll and participate in the poll. Just helps us better understand the feedback and what are the kind of improvements that you're expecting us to work on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.